Hello guys, this is Brian Tubbs coming back at you with another video. Today is going to be a quick video. I'm working on something that I've never worked on before. We were doing a show about 4 weeks ago now, and a guy came to our booth looking at our art. He said he really liked our art and he saw us at a show a year or two ago, and so he's kind of familiar with what we do. And so we talked for a while, and then I kind of walked away. I was doing something else, and then he and my wife were talking, and he said that he would like for us to make him a bench, just an outdoor bench. It's kind of a memorial. One of his friends, close friends, died, I guess, last year or this year, and he just wanted a bench, to put in his garden to remind me of this friend. I'm not sure if it's male or female, but he wanted this bench. I guess kind of mid-century modern, but he was kind of loose on that description. And so when I came back to the booth, he was gone, but he kind of told my wife what he wanted, and a few dimensions here and there, just kind of throwing some stuff around. And so when I got back to the booth, my wife told me that she talked to the guy. After I left, she talked to the guy, and he told her that he wanted a bench, and she told him that we could, look at it and just see what we could, come up with. And so I don't make benches. I make, sculptures. But then when she told me how much she's willing to pay, I said, well, I guess I'm in the bench business now. And so it's art, but it's a bench. He said he might sit on it, he might not. It'll just be like in his garden. So of course, I'm making it, of course, structurally sound. So if he sits on it, it'll, be sturdy and firm enough and safe enough for he and whomever else that will sit on it, or his grandchildren or whomever, if they come sitting on it, it won't collapse or anything. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys just a quick picture of a drawn picture of it, and then I'll kind of get you in close just so you can see it. I won't be doing any welding or anything on it on camera, because just of the positions I'll have to be in, to get my welds and stuff going. But I'll just kind of show you guys what I'm doing. So this is a picture of it. I hope you guys can see this. It's going to be like about 48 inches wide, about 36 inches in height from the ground up to this back. All the silver areas you see, that will all be stainless steel. And then the tubes, the brown tubes, that'll be just mild steel, maybe some core 10. And what we're going to do is put a Japanese brown patina on the brown portion. But then, of course, the stainless steel, we will be doing our passivation techniques, as opposed to doing our usual grind marks. We'll be just using our drum sander to just put brush marks in it. So it'll be just like a brushed stainless steel. And then on the circles, he wants those polished, so I'll be polishing out those circles. And of course, these will be the donuts that we normally make. So I'll be making 2 donuts, but they'll be polished. Then these bars back here are all stainless steel, and the slats across the seating portion, that's stainless steel. And down here, I'm using 1x3 stainless steel rectangular tube down here. It's about an 1/8 inch wall thickness. So that's not going to give any sag in the center. But I'm going to have a little brace going from the front to the back, right down the center. You will be able to see it because each slat will be about a 1/2 inch a gap between them. So you'll just see that slat going down the center, but it'll be stainless steel also. And then on the sides, I have some L brackets behind this that will be sitting under the slats on the sides, and that will be stainless steel because you'll be able to see that through the opening in the slats as well. So it's going to go from this point to the back. The frame will be all mild steel or core 10, how we do it. And then all the seating will be stainless steel, and all this in here will be stainless. And even although I'm making the piece now, I'm still coming up with the idea as I go along. Because if I'm doing something and I see it is not working as well as I want it to, I'm going to change it up. And I have that freedom to do it. Like I say, overall, it's going to be about 51 or 52 from end to end when I'm finished, because we were going for 48 in here, but I went 47 and a quarter, something like that, because that's what I was able to find as far as material. And if I want to go at 48s, I would have had to buy more material to make that. So I said, well, 47 and a half, I think something like that. That'll be good enough. And so that's a picture of the bench, guys. And so these are the slats that I'm using. They're 3 inches by 1 inch. They're about 47 and a half inches long. And I capped off the ends with stainless steel, of course. So this is the portion it will be sitting on, are these guys. And I don't necessarily have to have a brace down the center underneath, because this is it's pretty thick walled stuff. It might be even a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch wall thickness. It has some pretty good weight to it as well. It's not light. So this is the seat slats. And like I said, between each of these slats, there will be a 1/2 inch gap. So you have a 1/2 inch here, the next slat, 1/2 inch, next slat, and so on. And then this is the frame material. This is cold rolled mild steel, and I took our drum sander and just put like a brush finish on here. Now this looks like stainless steel, but this is just cold rolled mild steel, and we'll be putting a Japanese brown finish on this, and then clear coating it with Everclear. So this is a 2x2 tube. Wall thickness is right around 14 gauge. Because I asked AI, what's the best gauge for a outdoor bench, and it said either 14 gauge or 11 gauge. So that 11 gauge was pretty heavy, and I didn't want the bench to be overly heavy, so I went with the 14 gauge. And so this will be the brown portion that you saw, and then this is the ring for the back portion. I have 2 rings, one here and one will be here, and I might go with this ring in center, or I might just make my own just by rolling some stainless steel to go on the inside of the donut. I still got to cut the portion that you'll see around here out of 11 gauge, and then it's got to decide if I want to go with this size hole in the center, or if I want to go with a larger hole in the center, which will make this appearance portion a little bit narrower. So it just depends on what I decide to do. So I'm gonna move the camera in a little bit, guys, just so you can see the bench on the table, just to see how I have everything set up, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But like I said, I won't be welding or anything like that on the camera today. I'm just kind of showing you guys what I'm doing. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so this is the bench setup here. This is the bottom, the underside. Now, the way I have this thing set up, I have, this is going to be, the brown, the Japanese brown. This will be Japanese brown. These outer will be Japanese brown, and this will be Japanese brown. And again, this is flipped upside down. Okay, guys, so this is the underside, because the slats will be level with the top side of the outside frame. It'll just be a smooth transition from one to the other. Now, these tubes are, like I said, 2 by 2. The slats are 3 by 1. So there's about an inch difference in height here, somewhere in there. And I have between each slat, there's a 1/2 inch gap. So I'm using 2 large paint sticks, which are these guys, 1/4 inch. So I'm using 2 of them, which will make up the 1/2 inch. I'm using these because, I mean, they are pretty much on spot with a 1/4 inch, and they won't scratch, the stainless steel by being wood. So I have 2 in this position, 2 here, 2 here. And where the slat rests against the frame, I have a 1/4 inch. So I have 1 in this position, and I have 1 here. So the total seat portion, well, they'll be able to sit, will be, I think it's 16.5 inches. Their butt will be back here, knees will be out here, because it's going to be the front. They're the same, but I just picked this as the front, so I just plan to build from here as the front. And the way I did it, I have this frame coming to this point, the side coming here, because when I put the front and rear legs on, they'll just fit right into this pocket. And I'll be able to weld it from here and here, all on the inside, top, everywhere. So that's how the legs will be attached on these corners. Now, on the back side, on the back side, the legs will be, I may have a slight taper coming off, but that seat back, just imagine this is flipped over. The seat back will not be at a 90-degree angle with the seat. I will have about a 5, maybe a 10-degree offset on this seat back. So when you sit down, you're not sitting like you're sitting right in a 90-degree corner, because it'll make you kind of slump forward, and you won't be able to sit there long because it'll be putting pressure on your back, your shoulders, and everything. So on that seat back, I'm gonna recline it, which would be, I guess, a good word to use. Recline it back probably about 10 degrees. So when you sit, you're kind of sitting kind of back and kind of flowing back, as opposed to being straight up, your back being straight up. And then the seat, we're going to put that at about between 3 and 5 degree angle. So when you sit on the seat, it's not just level with the ground, but it'll slope backwards just a little bit. And that's good for, water runoff, but it's also good so that when you sit on it, you won't feel like you're sliding forward and sliding off of the bench. It'll kind of set you back kind of in a pocket. So you'll be sitting slightly on that 5 degree or 3 to 5 degree angle going back, and then that top is going to come off about 10 degrees. So although you'll be sitting in a pocket, it won't be 90 degrees. It'll be slightly off. The top could be 10, it could be 15 degrees. It just depends on what we do with the portion you'll be sitting on. And so I have all this in place. I made these brackets. This is a 1x1 stainless steel L bracket. And I drilled holes in it, you know, this portion and this portion. And it's going to sit in here underneath the slats. And it'll be welded to this outer frame wall. And then it'll be welded to the bottom of the slats. So that'll keep the slats from moving and, you know, and repositioning themselves. They'll be locked in. So I'll be welding inside of these holes, and then I'm gonna take my TIG welder. After I get everything welded up in here, I'll take my TIG welder and just go right into the seam and just put some beads in there. Probably one here, one in the center, and one out here on both sides. I have the same bracket on both sides. And then in the center, I have this is 1 by 3/8. So it's 1 inch by 3/8 inch rectangular solid stock, flat stock. So this is going to go in the center, but I'm not going to lay it flat like this. I'm going to stand it up on edge. So I'll be standing on this edge. So when it's in here, you will see it, but it really won't catch your eye because it's not that thick. But if I laid it flat, it'll catch more of your eye because of all of this area. So this is going to be the center support, you know, right in the center, going across the center. I don't have to have it because these slats are so thick, but just me being me, I'll just put it there because you never know, you get some grown adult gets drunk or something and get on this thing and start jumping up and down, and you never know, it could cause one of the slats to move or flex or something. You just never know. So I'm going to put this in and just weld it in cross center, and then I'll weld each slat to this. So I'll weld it somewhere in center here, here on both sides, all the way down, just to firm everything up because I don't want anything shifting. And to make sure everything was square, first off, I jigged everything up. You know, I have my fab squares here, and everything is jammed up down here. So I get everything jammed up, squared up, put the slats in, then I put my 1/2 inch spacers in, 1/4 inch spacers, and just get everything as square as I could. And then I just went from here to here, got that number, 49 3/4. Then I did it on the opposite side, 49 3/4. So I made sure everything was squared up, and having these fab squares in a fab table, as long as you get everything jammed up against this down here and jammed up against these, put your slats in, put your spacers in, get everything snugged up, it's going to be square. It's going to square itself up. But just to be safe, I still did a cross measurement, just to make sure they were either exact or real close to being exact. And so in that way, I know this thing is square. And so what I did, I had everything in, all the slats and the spacers, then I locked everything down with these. Everything is locked down. And then I took this, I pulled this piece of wood out, took this slat out, went to that corner, and MIG welded in that corner. And then went down here on this side, MIG welded into that corner, put this slat back in, put the 1/2 inch spacer here, 1/4 inch spacer here, did the same thing on this side. Took this 1/2 inch out, 1/4 out, slat out, and went in and welded up in this corner, the outside frame I'm talking about. I welded up in there and did the same thing down here. With everything pressed down to the table and locked in, so when I welded it, nothing would shift. And then I made these brackets. Like I said, they'll be just sitting in there, and that'll give seating support against this wall. I could have just went and just welded the bottom of these slats to this wall, but I didn't want people to really be able to see the welds, because there's a little bit of an open area right where these slats meet this outer wall. I didn't want them to see welds through there, so the only thing that they will see is the top edge of this. All the welds will be underneath, so they won't see any of this. And so once I get everything, welded in, I'll be flipping it over then, getting my height for my legs, because I know from the floor to the top of the back of the bench will be 36 inches. I got that all down. The front will be probably, the front legs will probably be somewhere around, I don't know, 24, something like that. I'll just make that adjustment to get those coming up. And then since my seat will be on about a 3 to 5 degree slope, I want the arms on this to be at that same slope. So when you're sitting, it'll just be natural. You won't be sitting at 5 degree, but your arms are horizontal. That won't feel quite right. So I gotta find that angle with the arms and the seat, so it'll kind of slope together. And so that's where I'm at with this thing, guys. And as you can see, hopefully you can see on camera, there are holes. Hole here, 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 here. Holes here. Everywhere on the bottom of this has holes. Because when this thing is sitting outside in wintertime and summertime and it's hot, you're gonna get condensation buildup. So you must remember to have your drain hose, because I don't want this thing sitting there and get full of water, and over time it starts rusting from the inside. Because we'll probably use some Core 10, but we'll be using some mild steel as well. And so that's where I am, guys. This is a bench that I'm making for the first time, and I've been doing some research online and communicating back and forth with AI. AI was the one that said standard bench has about a 1/2 inch spacer between each slat, and on the ends it has about a 1/4 inch gap there. It told me about the tube size, what's the best tube size to use. Not as far as 2 inch or 1.5 inch, whatever, just the wall thickness. Because I was going to go an 1.5 inch tube. My wife says it would look better if we did everything in 2 inch. Because that back piece, this upper back, I was going to use 1.5 inch, and I was going to use 2 inch flat, was it 2 inch by 1/4 inch flat stainless flat bar. But that would have been like 8 or 9 slats in here, or something like that. And then after a while, after thinking about it, I figured those slats would flex a lot more than a rectangular tube. So then I went and found some 4 by 1.5 rectangular tube. Brought those home. Didn't quite like the way they looked. So then I went back to one of my, to Elro in Livonia, and they just happened to have some 3x1s just stacked up. So I said, that looks like the slat that I'm looking for. So that's how I ended up with these 3x1s, and I'm glad I went down there and found them before I started welding up the 4x1, I think it was 4.5 inches, something like that. Just would not have looked right. And so that's where I'm at, guys. And let me move this camera back out. But I just want to let you guys see what I'm doing. And like I said, I won't be doing any welding because I'll just, all the positions I'll be in, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. But this is kind of where I'm at. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this one. I guess I'll name this this video "The Making of a Bench." Again, I've never done this before, but you know, with the skill that I have, that I've learned just from making sculpture, I pretty much have a pretty good idea of what to do here and how to do this, and especially how to make it, you know, pretty sound, structurally sound. And as far as, you know, the look, I mean, that's what we do. We make stuff look good. So again, it's not just a bench, it's a piece of art. So that's what I'm up to, guys, and hope to see you on the next one. I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but I might be still working on this thing. We got this commission, and then we got another commission with the piece we call Dolphins. This piece, we got a commission with this piece. This piece is about, I don't know, 12, 13 inches tall from the base to the top, something like that. But a guy and his wife came in and they saw it, but they wanted it larger for an outdoor piece. So I had to scale everything up. I'm working on this, and you know, we did a mock-up with cardboard and everything. Sent them the picture of what we came up with, a specialty base that I've not done before. I came up with that idea just to flow with the dolphins. So we sent them the mock-up. They loved it. Told us to go ahead and get started. They sent us where they're sending us, you know, a deposit. So things are flowing. And then with this, the guy that ordered this bench, he has another sculpture that he wants us to make. He has another idea of a sculpture he wants us to make. So when we finish with this one, we'll start drawing up the other one, and I'll get that going. So I'm doing this. You know, we're doing shows. It's busy, but I mean, that's just part of it. That's what I signed up for. And if you guys got into this business, it's what you signed up for too. So just be ready for it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this one. And I hope to see you on the next one. And as usual, peace out.